Hello, AP. This is the part two of our riveting presentation series on Renaissance art. So, last when we spoke, we were talking about the Southern Renaissance, and now we're going to talk about the Northern Renaissance. But, real quick here, um, that basically what we're talking about is that the Italian influences were are strong on this, that with oil and that. But the difference, this is what's most important because we don't have the most time in the universe here because the way the universe is, and plus you really don't want to listen to me ramble on and on incoherently. Here's where it comes down to. The difference is the Italian Renaissance is inspired by this humanism that we've talked about, and definitely is stressing of these classical and antiquity ideas, Greek and Roman things. So they're going to paint a lot of Greek and Roman things. And but now remember, a lot of their the patrons are the wealthy banking families like the Borgias and the Medicis and the Pope. The Catholic Church is a huge patron of buying these things, but yet they stress these classical ideas of the Greek and Romans, right, with humanism. And they're very much stressing religious themes in their paintings. Whereas the Northern Europeans, they are going to be driven by religious reformation, like not like Martin Luther, but the ideas of reforming religion. You're going to see this a lot in their paintings. You're going to see this a lot in the ideas that of of bringing forth church change. You see this in a lot in their literature, especially. And so, but now one of the bigger differences who the patrons are in the southern part of in Italy. The patrons again, Medici's, Borgias, the church, the Pope. In the north, yes, the church is still some, but you're going to see a lot more of the wealthy merchant class because you're going to see these wealthy merchants, particularly in the Netherlands and areas like that, where you're going to see that they have money flowing in and they want to spend it, and they're going to spend it a lot on portraits of them and their families. So the other thing is you're going to see a lot more detail showing up. So there's a continuation of late medieval attention to detail. So lots of minute little detail in the painting. A lot more realism and less emphasis on those classical ideas. A lot more landscapes. Okay, and there is what you didn't see before. Most of the paintings in the South are of the wealthy class or these Greek and Roman themes. In the North, you're going to see a lot more stressing of the common everyday people in some of the paintings. So here we go. All right. So this is a prime example. This is a Van Eyck. Here's what we're talking about. The crazy. This is oil. Okay. Let's move this crazy thing so you can see. All right. Look at the detail. That doesn't seem like much. Remember, this painting's huge, but see this mirror? See the chandelier? See the window seal. You ready? Here we go. Boom. There's that. That's the mirror. It's literally the entire room flipped. And these are little paintings inside of it. Now, this whole thing, you think, oh, no big deal. This is probably half the size of a hubcap. Okay. I mean, this is not very big, but look at the detail. It's the back of the couple, and that's the painter right there. There's the dating of the painting on the wall, and look at the detail and the shadow. You can even see the scratch lines in the bronze. Okay. So look at this one. This is the money lender. This is a banker and his wife. Okay. All right. See the mirror? See the coins. See the mirror, see the other clerk sitting at the window. You can see the trees, you can see the clouds, you can see the person and the shadowing. Notice this side of his face is lit, this side is dark because this is towards the window, this is not. You can even see the edging on the brick. And this is, like I said, this is about the size of probably a Coke can. All right, look at the coins. They're actually embossed with the royal seal. And look at the pearls. They actually have the shadow from the window. There again is the etching on the inside of the will for the ink. Beat that. Okay. This is Colette, portrait of Francis I. This is Durer. Durer was a scientist, an artist, a writer. Um, this is Durer. Looks a bit like Weird Al. This is Durer here, self-portrait, fur collared. This is one of his etchings. These are basically they carve into wood and then you put ink over it and you press it. So this is kind of a religious theme. This is this is a Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. It's a woodcut from 1498. Look at the detail, the sheer amount of detail. I have one of his of Don Quixote, which is quite impressive. Um, Holbein and the ambassadors again. This weird skull thing, which represents I can't remember what it represents, but it represents something. And then look, you can actually see the music on the page. You can see the strings here, the globe, the detail, the writing inside the book. So that's that detail. Bosch, more pessimistic view of nature of human, kind of these wild alerts. Bosch almost has this kind of leaning towards the ideas of surrealism to a degree, or more modern arts. And there definitely some landscapes involved. But you see what I mean? He's painting the peasantry, but there's these exaggerated forms. Again, the exaggerated forms. That's what I mean about this is almost like verge of Dadaism. Well, and we don't know what Dada is yet. I will teach you. This is Bruegel's Mad Meg. Um, and again, a lot more paintings of the peasantry, a lot more painting of these merchants in the towns, and less of the wealthy bankers, the wealthy popes, more of the common everyday person you see in the northern part of Europe versus the southern part of Europe. See, fields, landscapes, and fields, common everyday things is what you're going to see more in the northern Renaissance than the southern Renaissance. Um, Now, for the Italians or for the Spaniards, you're going to see what we call El Greco, which is kind of an unusual paint style, is that it mixes some of the ideas, the detail and everything that we saw in the Northern Renaissance, but it also pulls in some classical concepts, but it has these weird colorations. And El Greco, that's not the style, that's the person. El Greco, and this is called mannerism is what this style is called. The Northern Renaissance, a lot of detail, huge amount of detail, and a lot of paintings of everyday people. And the literature tends to question the church or looks for church reform. Okay. The Southern Renaissance, wealthy patrons, bankers, but they're upper class. They're not the merchant class like you see in the North. They're the wealthy bankers like the Medicis and the Borgias. And a lot of the art is commissioned by the Catholic Church. Many of these paintings are commissioned by the Catholic Church in Spain, but El Greco is this new type of style called mannerism. So it's its own type. So it's northern, southern mannerism. This is only found in Spain. El Greco, the difference is that he tends to use these elongated human forms. So you know how Da Vinci and Michelangelo were getting human form exactly right? That El Greco tends to pull you into the painting by creating this kind of weird perspective concept by stretching the bodies. He also does it by notice. Look at the Pope's. This is a cardinal. Sorry, not a Pope. Cardinal. His robe should be red. That's not red. It's this kind of neon reddish pinkish kind of thing. So it creates this offsetting color that draws your eyes to the painting. Um, you can see that here too with these weird yellows, and you can see how the forms are slightly distorted. This is supposed to be hell over here. Um, so, and you see, look how the head bodies are distorted to a degree. That's what this is in El Greco too. This is the view of Toledo. So that's that kind of a stretching concept. And also notice how it doesn't have much of a detail, but it does carry out those landscape things that we saw a lot of with the Northern Renaissance. So again, as we're kind of wrapping this up here, Southern Renaissance, lots of humanism, a lot of classical ideas. You're going to see a lot of that perspective and classical concepts of society and form, but the patrons are the wealthy banking class and the Catholic Church, the Pope. In the North, you're going to see it's more of the individual there's a huge amount of detail put into these paintings and less those classical ideas and a lot more of the common everyday merchant class because they're the ones paying for it. And that shows you that changing wealthy concepts, the change of wealth, in again, that decline of the Catholic Church, that the North is separating itself from the power of the Catholic Church in the South. And in Spain, it's its whole different thing. It's mannerism with these unusual pastelish almost dark in some aspects of Greco mannerism with these elongated forms. So that is the Northern Renaissance, and we have the Southern Renaissance. And again, after you've watched both of these, taking a break in between and watch both of these, make sure you do the Google Doc, and I'll see you in class.